Hey, West Elementary, I'm so excited to be coming back with you for session number 5 today. Today, it's all about how to choose to collaborate with somebody. And I've got a great story I want to share with you in just a couple of minutes and tell you about something that's really special to me. So before we do that, I want to remind you a little bit about where we've been and what we talked about. Last time for session 4, remember I had a special guest with me and she was really fantastic. She did a great job and her name was, when I count to 3, I want you to say her name. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Her name is Rayleigh. Rayleigh, that's right. Her name is Rayleigh. She's my princess. She's my daughter who used to be this tall. Like, she used to be this tall. And then now she's like, 19. Had a great time with her talking with you about the difference of what happens off the court, field, or stage and how that's more important than what you do on the court, field, or stage. What you do is really important on the court, field, or stage, but what you do off the court, field, or stage could actually disqualify you from getting to do the thing that you love to do. It could actually help us forfeit our opportunity to be great on the court, field, or stage. So we had a great time talking with you about that. And in session 3, remember we talked about a filter. And a filter is something that keeps that's right, a filter keeps the junk out. That's right. And so we talked about a filter for our words, and we call it the H2O filter. And say it with me if you remember what this is. With the H2O filter, we want to bring hope to the person we're talking to. We want to bring honor to the person we're talking about. Really good. And then 3, we want to look for an opportunity to serve. One more time. Ready? H2O filter. We want to bring hope to the person we're talking to. We want to bring honor to the person we're talking about. And then we want to look for an opportunity to serve them or to serve with them. Listen, when we do that, bullying goes away. Mean girls goes away. When we do that, gossip goes away. When we stop talking bad about people and we start trying to encourage them and honor them and bring hope to them, everything changes. And on session 2, remember I had a co-host, a hairy co-host, a furry co-host. When I count to 3, please say the name of my 4-legged co-host. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's Patches. I don't know if you ever get to shoot a video with your dog, but if you do, it's going to be great. You should do it. Now, when we had that conversation with Patches, that was about helping you remember that you're in the most selfish phase of your life. Say it with me. You're in the most selfish phase of your life. And sometimes when people like me say something like that, you are quick to do this. Are you quick to kind of fold your arms up and be like all angry faced and angry eyebrows pointing down like, I'm not selfish, you're selfish, buddy. Listen, remember that's not the whole phrase. The whole phrase is you're entering the most selfish phase of your life. Now make great choices because you can do that. Sometimes you and I forget to do that and then we just make the choices, we just react instead of respond. But I'm reminding you that that's how that works because I want you to stop and I want you to make great choices. I want you to respond instead of just to react. And the very first session we talked about this school year was about how to cultivate culture. Remember, culture is the way we do stuff or the way we allow it to be done. And cultivate's a farming term that just means control what you can control. And we talked about the best fish on the... Okay, we didn't talk about fish. We talked about the best burgers and burrito? We didn't talk about that. We talked about something, some other kind of food. What was it? You dip in some sauce. Chicken. We talked about the Chick-fil-A culture and how they have great chicken, but the culture that they have in their organization is way better than the chicken. And they do the same thing that we do at West Elementary. It's our Eagle culture. And in the Eagle culture, in the Chick-fil-A culture, I see the best in you. I want the best for you. Good. I expect the best from you. One more time. I see the best in you. I want the best for you. I expect the best from you. Man, that's where we started, and I still believe that today. Listen, I think you're fantastic. I'm for you. I think you're rock and roll. I don't think you're perfect, but I'm not perfect either. And the reason we're here again today is because I want you to know that there's a dude in Duncan who's for you. There's a dude who's for you who doesn't have to be for you. And I speak for all the people in your building, all the teachers, all the assistants, all of the administrators. We are for you. We want you to do great. And we want you to do great not just by yourself, but we also want you to do great when you work together. Today, I am so excited to share a story with you. When I was a kid, we would go every summer, we would go and spend a week with my grandparents. And I call them Meemaw and Pa. You probably have a Meemaw and a Pa, or maybe a Mimi and a granddad, or a Pappy and a Nana, or a Mama and a Nunu. I mean, I don't know what you call those people, but I call them Meemaw and Pa. And my Pa, every time we would go down there, every time we would drive there, this has been a while, but we'd be in the car and we'd be driving, and he'd have both hands on the steering wheel, and then he'd roll his window down, and he'd look over his shoulder at us in the car, and he'd stick his head out the window. They lived in a town called Jenks, Jenks, up by Tulsa. He stuck his head out the window and he said, "Hey, Jenks America, get ready, because here comes Mike, Chrissy, and Larissa Kahn. They're coming at you, and they're going to have a fantastic week." And he just kept going on and on and on about what a great week it was going to be. And this one time, when I was a little bit older than you, we got into town, and he put his arm around me, and he said, "Hey, Sugar Man, I know what we're going to do this week." And we did this amazing thing, and some of you may have seen it last year, or may have heard about it last year, but I want to share it with you again today. See, my grandpa was a master woodworker. Like he would take chunks of wood and carve them into boots or shoes, and even whittle out where you could even put the shoelaces in there. It's crazy. He also took blank pieces of wood and he made them chains, and they kind of linked in together like they were wooden chains, but you could unhook them and hook them back up. It was so cool. But when I was born, I came home from the hospital, and we had this crib, we had this cradle that I stayed in at home. Well, my grandpa made it out of wood. So cool. He also made this clock, and it was a grandfather clock, and it's this big clock in our house when I was growing up. It's probably about this tall, and it had a couple little pointy things on the top, and had some shelves in it. And my grandpa made that for me and for my family because he thought we were pretty great. My grandpa was a tremendous woodworker, a tremendous craftsman. And I was not. I was just a little bit older than you. And I knew how to do a couple of things, but working with wood was not really something that I did. So when he told me this one week, he said, "Hey, Sugar Man, I know what we're going to do this week." It was such a cool thing. The cool thing we made was this birdhouse. It's called Mike's Feed Store. You can see there at the top. And you can't see it this time. I mean, you can see it. Looking over the bird, looking around the bird. You can see it, you can't feel it, but man, this is smooth. And there's a couple of nails right here in the bird that I don't know if you can see. There's that stuff. And of course on the back is where you put the seed, the bird seed. You put it in there, and then it comes out the front. And then you hang this on a tree, and then the birds just come here and they just start eating the seed. It was really cool. It's super special. One of the most special parts of it is when you turn it upside down, it's got my grandpa's logo that he put on everything. I don't know if you can see it. So the reason I'm showing you this today is because my grandpa chose to collaborate with me on this birdhouse, Mike's Feed Store. He could have done Mike's Feed Store all by himself, but he didn't. He chose to invite me in. You and I do that very same thing whenever we invite people in to collaborate with us. The word collaborate is just a big word that means to work together. So whenever you and I collaborate on a project together, that just means that we're working together on something. When my grandpa and I collaborated on this project, on Mike's Feed Store, the birdhouse, we just worked together. We just worked together to do things that we were both pretty good at. And those two things that we were both pretty good at worked together to get us this one really cool project. My grandpa could have done the whole thing by himself, but he didn't. Even though he was really good at everything you needed to do to be able to find the wood and measure it out, then cut the wood and then sand it down and then stack that wood on top of some other wood and nail it where it needed to be nailed and cut out some of the corners and all those different things. You and I can do some of those same things too. There are some things we can do on our own by ourselves, but it's better if we can invite someone else to work together. You might be able to do it by yourself, but what if you looked for someone else who could come and join you, who could work together with you on the project, who could collaborate with you? That's when we really get to unlock our superpowers, is when we choose to collaborate. So today, as you're thinking about how to put this into practice, because it's Friday and we do this on Fridays, as you're trying to think how you can put this into practice, I want you to start putting all of these pieces together. I want you to look around and see what kind of culture we want to have and how can we help people do good? How can we help people make those right choices? How can we help people know that we see the best in them and we want the best for them and we expect the best from them, so we're inviting them to come be in a project with us. Or maybe even it's a project where we've got to work with other people and listen, I want to bring hope to the person I'm talking to. Yes, this is hard, but we're going to be able to do it. We're going to be able to finish it. I want to bring honor to the person I'm talking about instead of telling everyone else to my left and to my right, what a bad job you're doing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to tell on somebody else that they're not doing a good job. I want to bring honor to the person that I'm talking about. And then let's look for an opportunity to serve someone. You could do that in your community. You could do that at your school. You could do that at Bircham maybe. Like there's so many different things you can do. And whenever you're out, if you're going to Walmart and there's some carts that are not in the cart holder, ask your mom or dad, whoever takes care of you, hey mom, is it okay if I grab that cart and put it in the buggy holder? That's ways where you can do good. Ways where you can help other people. Listen, I know that you want to do what you want to do when you want to do it, and a lot of times that's this, whether that's texting or whether that's Xboxing or PS5ing or whatever it is that you do, and that's not bad. It's not bad to do some things that are fun. But I know you're not going to like this, so I raise my eyebrows really high and I smile, not a creepy smile, not that one, but just a smile, and I say, you're entering the most selfish phase of your life. ... Now make great choices. And one of the great choices you could make would be to choose to invite someone else in to collaborate with you. And remember, when you're collaborating, when you're working together, you might do something that's really good, or you might do something that's pretty good, or you might do something that's awesome. When you do something that's awesome, remember, it's what you do off the court, stage, or field. It's always more important than what you do on the court, stage, or field. Because a lot of times what we do off the court, stage, or field, it keeps us from being able to shine or to thrive or to do our best work, either as individuals or when we partner together with people. Listen, I think you are fantastic. I think you are so rock and roll. I am for you. And some days I know you and I are not that different. Some days you look in the mirror and instead of seeing your highlight reel, you see ways where you messed up and let people down, and that just plays over and over and over and over again in your mind. When that happens, I want you to remember the guy with the checkered shirts, salt and pepper hair, with the dog and the daughter, who are in these videos. And here's what I want you to remember. I don't just want to see people. I want to help people feel seen and feel valued every day for the rest of my life. And today is one of those days for you. I want you to feel seen and feel valued. And I don't want you to have to feel that by yourself. I want you to get to feel that when you collaborate with somebody else. Man, I'm so proud of you. You guys are doing such great work. It's already February. Oh man, the pedal is to the metal. We're looking at spring break and we know it's not that far off. So, when you see me, Or when you see other people and you want to help them feel seen, just look at them and give them our wave, right? I'm proud of you. Have a great weekend. See you.